23, the start of Pac-12 play. We got two ranked teams, the number 12 Utes against the number 8 Buffaloes. Let's get the visitors first for Utah. They, of course, are led by Alyssa Peely and her 24 points per game. Add in the mix, a couple starters need to get going, and Kennedy McQueen and Jenna Johnson plan to step up today here on the court. As for the Buffs, they are a veteran force. The 5 of them are going strong. That includes Maddie Nolan, now inserted into the starting lineup their last game against the University of Northern Colorado, taking the place of Tamia Sadler. So her second consecutive start, the Michigan transfer. There's J.R. Payne, her 8th season here as the head coach of the Buffs, coming off one of their best seasons, Sweet 16 appearance. Speaking of the Sweet 16, that's exactly where Utah was last year as well. Lynn Roberts in her 9th season at the helm there in Salt Lake, and of course the coach of the year in the Pac-12 conference last season. We are so excited for this matchup to begin. The rivalry matchup tied at 21 apiece. Winner today will take advantage in the series, the 43rd meeting all time, but yet the first time they have both been ranked when they have met on the court. It is a great crowd on hand here in Boulder today. Over 5,000 expected and counting, and we are off and running. The tip up, and it belongs to the home team in the Colorado Buffaloes. They're on a set offense down low. We're going to see a fast-paced game today, Elise, and it's going to start with a 3 from Foreman. Can't get it to roll, and Alyssa Peely comes up with her first board of the day. Oh, look at Sherrod right away. This is one thing that you cannot take your eyes off the basketball, because you're going to have attack on both sides between the white jerseys and the red jerseys.
Well, and it's fun to see who is coming out guarding who in this player-to-player defense. Looks like Foreman is going to be guarding the point guard here today for Utah, Ines Vieta.
Vieta goes to her left, kicks it back to Peely. She fakes and loses the ball, and the paint keeps it with the Utes. Now the shot clock down to single digits. We're not going to see that much today. These two teams like to run and gun. At 4, Peely's going to have to shoot. She does it one-handed off the glass with 1 second remaining. Utes score first.
And look at Vonleh running the floor. And they will say that does not get that position first. Jenna Johnson will get the foul. But as soon as Peely scored, you noticed one thing, and that was Vonleh running the floor. And Peely, you give her that much space in the lane, she's going to take advantage. You cannot stop her one-on-one.
Jenna Johnson picked up the foul, and there's an off-ball foul coming as well. And this is going to go on Alyssa Peely, and that's something to watch, right? That is really the only way, Lynn Roberts said, you can take her out of her game. She has so much confidence right now. They don't want her to get into foul trouble, and early on the board, she has one.
Well, Vonleh averages 15 points per game, and that is who Peely's matched up with as she takes it away.
Yeah, Foreman passing it right into the hands of 35 for the Utes. Peely's a threat up top, and of course when she drives, she's doing that on Aaronette Vonleh, playing tough defense. Johnson with the dribble drive, and a bunch of Buffs swarm her. How about Jalen Sherrod coming up with a steal and completes the bucket?
Sherrod's quickness is such a factor, turning defense into offense.
Drive inside, up and over Foreman, and Vieta with her first points.
Love that. The junior, who's a southpaw, going with her right hand, showing the footwork off.
The Utes are going to need all the help they can get. They're missing about 31 points in injuries right now between Gianna Neepkins and Izzy Palmer. Palmer expected to come back sometime in January, but not right now. That gets tied up, and the jump ball in the possession the other way.
Sherrod's quickness, one of the best defenders that you are going to find on ball, just ripping it away, and then she's off to the races. And that's what really gets her going, is her defense making an impact.
Vieta back up top, and they're going to call a check foul. So Quay Miller with her first personal, and that'll bring in the first sub of the day for J.R. Payne. Tamia Sadler coming off the bench for the second consecutive game. Gave the team a lot of energy against Northern Colorado. It was a very slow first quarter of that game.
Just the second game this season she has not started, so a bit of a different look for Sadler. Well, with her and Sherrod on the floor at the same time, they are so quick defensively.
I've seen a lot of whistles off ball early here. These referees know and understand the competition.
Well, setting the tone early in this rivalry match. Colorado, one of the most physical teams in the Pac-12 conference. And so those whistles are important. If they can play their game without fouling, they are really hard to beat.
Sadler on Vieta. She was up and under, missing. And here comes Sherrod. She's going to push the ball. And in transition, Sadler had to look for three, but doesn't take it. Aaronette Vonleh turns and shoots, and she has range.
That is the first three attempted on the season by Vonleh, but trying to pull Peely out of the paint.
Just two for her, so 4-4, all tied up here. 3 minutes into the first quarter. We're seeing a lot of tough defense. That'll be the difference maker today. Peely takes her first three, and that's off. Foreman, baseline jumper, in and out. And toss up over the ball. It's going to go to the Utes. They call the second foul on Quay Miller today, and you will hear it from the CU Event Center. Fans don't like it.
So not a three for Vonleh, but deep range. He is not known as that big outside threat, but certainly when the defense is sagging off of Vonleh, she can hit it.
Guarantee it's something Peely won't forget next time down the floor. Sadler's hands all up in the mix. Peely underneath, and the reverse doesn't go. Vonleh fighting for it. It comes up with the Buffs. Peely on the ground, late to get up, and she trails. So CU with numbers. Vonleh connects.
Vonleh running that floor again.
On the other end, quick in transition, big stuff. Vonleh coming off 5 career blocks against Northern Colorado.
Now look at her run the floor, one into the next, puts the lay-in and then back to block the shot. And J.R. Payne said that inline to inline, you run them, there's only one player that can compete with Vonleh, and that is her, Jalen Sherrod.
Sherrod off the iron there. She doesn't have much luck from three-point range, just 1 for 19 before she finally connected on 2 in their last game. Underneath, and Charlotte Whitaker, who checked in the game with some good defense. Sadler gets it knocked out, and the Buffs will try and set it up. Sadler in the corner, that's short. Air ball into the hands of Peely, and the Utes are going to slow it down as they look back at their coach in Lynn Roberts.
Yeah, and a few possessions ago. Whew, fast tempo here. Peely really fortunate she did not get called for her second personal.
Peely charging in on Aaronette Vonleh, plays her straight up, and Peely's so good at ball movement and getting it inside.
Well, that spin move is lethal. If you lean one direction when you are checking Peely, she can spin away from you quickly.
Nice feed to Sherrod. And how about the and one opportunity? Charlotte Whitaker, what an assist. Great job by the Buffs to see the floor here. This is what they do. Everyone gets an assist for Jalen Sherrod getting the buckets. 8-6, Buffs up. 8-6, fast pace here at the CU Event Center between the number 8 Buffs and the number 12 Utah Utes. For these two coaches, very good friends that go back decades. 8 seasons for J.R. Payne here in Boulder. 9 for the reigning Pac-12 Coach of the Year in Lynn Roberts. And both of them have built their programs up so much to the fact that they're both ranked now in the top 12. They're going to be 2 of the better teams in the conference when all is said and done. And I think, you know, being mirrored in the Mountain Time Zone, both these teams are going to be leaving for the Big 12. But wow, the jobs that they've each done collectively at their school to put them on the map.
Lynn Roberts, the Coach of the Year last year in the Pac-12, and if not for her, it easily could have been J.R. Payne. They finished 3rd in the Pac-12 last season. They made that run to the Sweet 16, going on the road in the tournament and beating Duke. And such a great job both of these have done. And it took some time and to build your way into a program where both of these programs, when they took over, were struggling. And it took some time to build the right way. And now both Colorado and Utah are playing at a extremely high level.
Well, the game was what we expected so far. A lot of back and forth. And defense definitely going to count here. Sherrod completed the three-point play on the other end and a three-point lead for the Buffs. And a wide open lane for Madison Wilkie, the transfer from Wisconsin.
Sadler got hung up on a screen, and that left Wilkie a wide open lane.
So the bench coming in for Payne out of the timeout as well. Sarah Rose Smith with the ball, and that's going to be a travel as she couldn't get her feet under her. Kendall Wetta also in the game, and Foreman checking back in with Maddie Nolan coming out.
Look at this big screen onto the floor. Getting it done is Nene So, 6'8", and setting the big screen all the way from Brussels in Belgium.
And her size is breathtaking out on the floor when you look at 6'8". Dominates by size. Made it to Johnson. And the Utes working the perimeter. Kendall Wetta got a hand on it.
Kendall Wetta is so good on these screens and navigating them.
Up top, Vieda's going to have to shoot. She doesn't see the shot clock. Looks up. It's at 1, and an air ball is going to be a violation. So the Buffs defense working early here. Not what we expected. We didn't expect Utah to get so set.
Colorado's so good defensively. As this season goes on and they start playing teams in the Pac-12 conference, just know that end of the floor, it can absolutely affect the ball game.
Smith to Sadler. Dribbling around with 7 on the shot clock. She drives it, gets stuffed by all 6'8" of So. And here are the Utes in transition. The floater pass picked up by Sadler for the steal.
And Sadler's a ball hawk. You let that one that high, she's going to pick it every time.
And Smith off the glass. What a move by Sarah Rose Smith.
So right now, a key moment in this game. So many players off the bench playing critical minutes.
Sadler got held up on the screen, and Wilkie picks her ball up under the basket to turn it over once again. The feed right into the hands of Utah. So a little back and forth.
Vieta, smaller guard, but so quick.
Three-point shot, no good for Kennedy McQueen. And a jump ball will send it the Buffs' way. The bench loves the energy for CU, and a couple starters going to check back in.
So Smith seeing the lane to the hoop, curling around the 6'8" shot blocker, Nene So, and able to cash that in with her left.
Vonleh and Sherrod back in the game for the Buffs. Sherrod inside. Nice spin move, got it. Jalen Sherrod leads all scorers with 7.
Sherrod putting the hand down saying, "You're too small to guard me." Now that's funny because she's all of 5'7".
Playing big though today, playing big. Peely works it away. And Aaronette Vonleh just straight up underneath. Peely always finds magic into the hoop, it feels like.
Well, once again, Peely, the double team not coming, and she is able to take advantage. Rips it away from Frida Foreman, the one-on-one with Vonleh. And she's so creative with using the glass when she's in that paint.
Reese Ross, the freshman in the game, and that's going to go the other way. Now it will be on Ross.
Yeah, that dribble handoff, sometimes you become a screener with the ball in your hands.
It's been a point of emphasis for sure in the women's game this year. One dribble and a spin move too high over the basket. And there's Kendall Wetta. That's the difference she makes. She does not give up on a play, and she keeps it with the Buffs. Sherrod on the drive. She gets fouled. So 2 quick fouls for the freshman Reese Ross.
Boy, we've seen already a lot of players grabbing at their head, taking hits, getting smacked. This time, Sherrod going into the lane, drawing contact against Ross to earn 2 foul shots. And drawing contact is a skill. It is not by luck. It's the ability to put your head down and to create space and to find space in crowded areas.
Maddie Nolan checks in for Frida Foreman. Jalen Sherrod had 16 points their last outing against Northern Colorado, all of them coming in the first half.
Yeah, she's a player now in her 5th year. First ever game she played at Colorado, 11 assists, and she has been lighting it up ever since. Out of Alabama, a long way to come to Colorado, but she has been one of the main reasons why J.R. Payne in Colorado is now a top 20 program.
8 points, and you hear the crowd. Vieta used her elbow. No call there. Through the lane, and a block call underneath as Maddie Nolan hits the deck. She'll get the foul call. Lonnie White will have an opportunity to shoot.
Lonnie White getting to the spot first. Nolan could not establish position, and so Lonnie White will earn 2 foul shots.
Last 2 games, she's come on strong. 11 points against Southern Utah, followed up by 9 against Weber State.
Yeah, she had struggled a bit from the 3-point line. Had a game earlier in the year where she was just 1 of 10 from deep, but the last 2 games, she's found the range, multiple threes. 3 against Southern Utah, a couple versus Weber State. She's a player that can get hot.
14-12, 1 minute to go in the first quarter. Buffs lead by 2. Weta looking to feed in the paint, finds Maddie Nolan on the perimeter, and Sarah Rose Smith cutting but loses the ball.
And the quickness of Vieta getting there and disrupting.
White for 3, and as you mentioned it, she's hot. 5 points now for Lonnie White. Scored the last 5 for the Utes. They
Nice
take the lead.
to have somebody coming off your bench that can provide that scoring punch.
That could be Kendall Weta for the Buffs, and she just finds the basketball. An absolute magnet for it sometimes, gets it right back, and it looks like the Buffs are going to be able to take the last shot if they want here in the quarter.
5 steals for Colorado in the first half. That quickness has really been a factor.
5 seconds to go. Sherrod with the ball. Inside to Nettie. Off the glass. She gets the roll as the buzzer goes here. 1 quarter in between these rivals, and we got ourselves Pac-12 basketball. 16-15 as the Buffs take a 1-point advantage after 10 minutes of play. It's a good crowd on hand here at the CU Event Center, and this is what they came for. Tough basketball between 2 ranked opponents. Well, the Pac-12 setting up for a fantastic season of women's basketball. You look at 5 teams ranked in the top 12. Utah arguably could move up higher than that. We'll see that in the net rankings. Stanford with a win over Cal last night. They come in at number 9. Number 8 here in Boulder. They've been ranked as high as 5th on the season. USC, number 6. And then, of course, UCLA, the highest ranked Pac-12 team at number 2. You look at the schedule, you can't look too far. You'll get so overwhelmed by the gauntlet that is going to be the Pac-12, and these net rankings. They show you that Utah, even though they're ranked 12, their net ranking is a 4.
It's incredible when you have 8 teams in the top 31 of the net rankings, and that is a big determining factor in seeds for the NCAA tournament. And in this Pac-12 conference, I think the beauty of it is, yes, you take the first quarter today, competitive, really good first quarter of basketball for both teams. This is going to be the way it is throughout the 18-game Pac-12 conference season. And when your net rankings are already so high and you beat up on each other, the chance is nobody's going to drop that far.
And nice steal out of the gate from Sarah Rose Smith. She collects the ball and gets the points. You could tell, at least, that she was frustrated with herself, made a couple mental mistakes on the court earlier, and right there, locked in.
Well, the 6th steal of the game for Colorado, and that is why right now they are neck and neck with Utah.
How about Kendall Wetta on Peely? So talk about a mismatch. She gets her into the basket, draws a foul.
Oh, Peely, just that quickness. No one more powerful in the country than Peely, but it's the combination of the quickness that does it for Peely as she earns a couple of free throws. But the defense for Colorado has been the difference in this one for the Buffs. Their defense leading to many open lay-ins at the other end. That time it was Smith reading the eyes of the offensive player. Utah so good offensively with assists. They lead the nation in assists and able to read those eyes and take it away.
9 points off turnovers. And a couple free throws good. So 1 point advantage for the Buffs. 18-17 here in the second quarter. That's going to be over and back. So Foreman didn't see where her feet were when she caught the basketball. Straddled the line and a turnover.
And that's just outstanding pressure from Vieta, denying the basketball back to the bigger Foreman, using that quickness to her advantage to force that turnover.
Peely just blows right by Aronette Vonleh.
The slightest of shot fakes got Vonleh leaning, and then Peely with that quickness just right by Vonleh to the bucket.
Utes back on top, and Peely the leading scorer on the floor. 10 for her. First to double figures. Vonleh found Sarah Rose Smith. Off to Sherrod. She's going to dribble and shoot. And a board coming for Frida Foreman, and a foul on the ground.
So watch the ball fake. Right there got Vonleh just leaning on her tiptoes, and that left the wide open lane for Peely. You have to respect her three-point shot. She's guarded by bigger defenders that aren't used to being on the perimeter, but she leads the nation at 56% from deep.
Sherrod bustling her way through, finds a wide open Tamia Sadler cutting, and she's on the board with 2.
Love the pass, and I love the finish off the window, straight on. A lot of players will just try to scoop that in, and it's a harder shot than just putting it off the window.
Sadler ran into the screen of Peely, and Deja Young lost the ball. She gets it back to Peely, wide open inside is Johnson. Go hard off the glass, and here come the Buffs. Sherrod driving all the way in, kicks it out. Foreman fakes the 3. And just an inside-out game. Can't connect, though.
Foreman looking for that 3. She has not had a lot of open looks. One of the sharpest shooters in the nation.
Peely wide open look. She got it.
My goodness, she is just so good.
So dynamic.
Peely already for her 13 points, knocking down the 3. The defense just got abused on the way to the hoop. Now she hits the 3 in the face. She is such a matchup nightmare.
Quickly to 13. The Buffs held her to 14 last time they were on the court here at the CU Event Center in January last season and got that upset win. Shot clock at 3. It didn't hit the rim. Vonleh's going to take a 3. And you talked about her range earlier. Doesn't get it there, but a rebound putback by Sarah Rose Smith.
J.R. Payne said that she thinks that Sarah Rose Smith is much better than what she's played early. She's been nagged by injuries.
Peely turns and goes with her left hand. 15 now.
Okay, that was ridiculous with her left hand by Peely.
So silly sometimes. That's the only way to describe her game. It's that good. Sherrod answering on the other end.
Answering quickly, which is when Colorado's at their best.
And a whistle, count it for 2, as Vieta will head to the line for a 3-point play.
And we just saw back and forth possessions of high-level shot making by both sides. It was Peely with her left, incredible. Vieta just flipping it off the glass. But Vieta, look at this, with the English. She's a lefty, just spinning it up there with her right hand. She has had to move into the starting lineup, switched off last year with Izzy Palmer. Izzy injured in practice a couple of weeks ago, has not played since the Baylor game, and so Vieita's having to play a lot of minutes and carrying a heavy load, already with a career high in steals.
Can't get the three-point play converted, in and out, and you saw a line change for both the Utes and the Buffs. Bench players out and about. By the way, that was Erin Von Lay's second foul of the game, so she finds herself sitting. Charlotte Whitaker from deep. That's long, and the long rebound goes to Brie McLeod. She's going to travel inside on the double team, so credit the Utes defense swarming in there.
Well, significant foul trouble now for Colorado here to finish this half. Quay Miller has hardly played. She picked up 2 quick personals, and now Von Lay with those 2.
Kennedy McQueen dribbling around, finally dishes it out. Johnson picked it up. McLeod getting a hand on the ball. That defense is pesky today, but working around it is McQueen.
McQueen using her body to shoulder the defense after getting the screen, finishing in traffic.
4-point lead for the Utes here. Weta charging in. Out to Maddie Rose. She finds herself 3-point range now for Weta. Goes baseline, traveling underneath, and a cutting Whitaker goes strong off the glass.
Good connection. The cut by Whitaker. It looked like Weta might be stuck on the baseline, but popped free.
How about McQueen? Just missing there, but cutting through every which way. Inside to McLeod. Weta coming over to the right wing. McLeod going to work and gets it in.
That was an excellent move. Quickness with that spin and finishing with the left hand, the sophomore.
Back to being tied at 28 each, under 5 here in the second quarter. Vieita for 3. In and out, and an offensive board coming up for So, but she throws it up, and Maddie Nolan will transition the Buffs to offense. Hands on it, and it's going to be a foul. So Deja Young picks up her second. Everyone seems to be getting involved here on the floor. All the points count, and we're all tied up at 28 apiece. Pac-12 women's basketball is brought to you by Clean Simple Eats, elevating life through food and fitness. By MGM Rewards, earn points on every game-winning celebration. Visit MGMRewards.com for details. And by Las Vegas, the greatest arena on earth. Well, back here in Boulder, we got a tied game, 28 apiece in the second quarter between these 2 ranked foes in the Buffs and the Utes. It's time now for the Liberty Mutual most needed play, and it came on a 3-point play. Anesh Vieita just going strong to the hoop.
I love the take, the creativity, taking the contact and knowing, all right, flip it up. You got a chance to get the completed 3-point play, but you don't unless you put it up off the window, and that's what Vieita was able to do. And her defense on the other end has been fantastic. She's been moving her feet, stayed out of foul trouble. She took Frida Foreman for a lot of this first half. Foreman has yet to get a bucket. Foreman has hit multiple threes in every game this season except for 1. She is electric from deep, and she's been part of the reason that Utah's been able to quiet her so far.
Maddie Nolan takes the jumper from the key, and that misses. Foul trouble for the Buffs. Quay Miller and Erinette Von Lay find themselves on the bench. We'll see what the bench can now provide for the Buffs here in a tied contest. Johnson at the top of the key over to Peely. And she picked up her dribble to hand it off to Deja Young. 6 on the shot clock. Deja Young backing in Nolan. Turns in an offensive board. That was huge for Utah. Their second chance points, they get them. Deja Young coming up with her first points at a big 3.
And Utah's going to have to get other players producing. Alyssa Peely with 15 points. She has been unstoppable in this first half, but somebody else is going to have to make plays, and that time it was Young.
Sherrod, just so smooth on her stroke. That's a little long, and Whitaker tried to do something with it, knocked it right to the Utes. Cross-cool pass. Young for three. Can't stay hot, off the iron, and the Buffs are going to try and make some points happen.
Deja Young, the one getting that matchup on Sherrod, the bigger, athletic defender.
Weta goes to her left. Sherrod for three, and she connects. Sherrod providing a lot of energy the last game as the Buffs had to work uphill, and here providing that same energy with one big shot, 31 all.
Well, when Jalen Sherrod starts knocking down threes, you are in for a long night defensively because it's so hard to stay in front of her when she puts the ball on the deck. And then when you have to back up because of her quickness and she hits these threes, it's been a struggle from three so far this season for Sherrod. But she is coming off a game where she hit a couple of them. So starting to find that stroke. She's been working so hard on that game. She grew up, really liked to watch Jordan Canada, the quick point guard, former UCLA Bruin, who was with the Seattle Storm and now with the LA Sparks. And a lot of similarities in that game.
Well, connecting on 1-3 through her first 10 games. In the last two, she's got 4 threes now. 3 threes. In and out for Peely. Whitaker coming up with a board.
A rare miss. Whitaker using that height to just stay in front of Peely.
And now Sherrod trying to dish assist. Foreman off the bench. Doesn't make it, and this is going to be a foul call on Tamia Sadler.
And I think Frida Foreman just a little bit sped up on that three-point attempt. She is so good from three. 48% on the season. She's already hit 37 threes in 11 games. I mean, do the quick math. That's almost 4 made threes per game, but yet to get one.
A short. Smith coming down, but how about Vieta in the fight? Takes the ball right away. And Peely putting on the moves in the middle. She gets stuffed by Whitaker. Sherrod picks the ball up, one pass back in her hands, and now she's running straight towards the Utes and the glass. Ball knocked around and back to that fast-paced action we saw when the game began in the first quarter. 3-point attempt coming, and in and out for Kennedy McQueen. There's a foul call, and Peely gets it in. Sarah Rose Smith will have the foul.
Frustration there for Colorado because they had 2 consecutive stops against Peely. Whitaker used her size, but Peely just continuing to work. That time on the O boards, the and one, she's got 17.
33-31, and as Peely steps to the line here, stay with us for halftime. We'll have the Walt Disney World halftime report coming up at the conclusion here of the second quarter.
Melissa Peely, the matchup with Charlotte Whitaker, who's 6'4", the 5th-year grad student out of New Zealand. Alyssa Peely is listed at 6'2". She's not even 6 feet tall. But the way she uses her size and leverage and the strength that she has, that is why she is so effective. Even though she is giving up a lot of inches, that leverage and power combined with the quickness.
There's a foul on the other end. So Sherrod just taking it to the hoop once again.
And I think she might have taken a knee into her thigh. So painful. But you want to talk about quickness. She is a flash. Getting to the spot first. Jenna Johnson cannot get there in time to cut off Sherrod. And then see her a little bit gimpy after taking that contact. She is never scared to go take a hit, though, and earn a couple of foul shots.
Doesn't mind getting to the line. There's no doubt about it. 86% free throw shooter for Sherrod.
And she has been the offensive force. Peely with the 17 for Utah, but Sherrod nearly countering that. Now 14 points and another free throw coming. Her quickness has been a huge factor.
A couple big buckets here. Under a minute to go before halftime. All tied up again at 33.
I'm just looking around at this crowd. Look at this crowd. It is packed. I think in just a few years ago, the way that J.R. Payne has built this program, really impressive to see the fans engaged.
Three-point shot. Wilkie missing long. A fight for the rebound, out of bounds into the Buffs. I agree with you. Growing up for myself in Colorado, watching those teams in the early 90s, the fever for women's basketball is real when you look around. And rightfully so. This program that J.R. Payne has built with her staff and players that want to stay here. She's built it around 4-year, 5-year players like Sherrod spinning to the hoop and missing.
Well, one of those players that you mentioned, Jenny, is Shelly Sheets, who was one of the best point guards in the nation back in the 90s when Seal Berry had this program rocking and rolling. And she's now, of course, an assistant for J.R. Payne. There's Sherrod, what a get. There's Shelly. Oh, was she pure. She could flat out rip the net when she was a player.
I know when we played rec league, you always dreamed about being Shelly Sheets. Stealing the ball, passing the ball. She had a complete game for sure. 15 seconds to go here in the half. Buffs once again have the opportunity to put some points on the board. Shot clock. Ball got stuffed, and it's going to be a violation. So the Utes will have the ball with 4.7 to go into halftime.
And this is plenty of time. Utah's so good. Lynn Roberts, known for the analytics, but also she's got it dialed up. 4.7 seconds. It's way quicker to advance the ball on the pass than the dribble, and we'll see where they want to go.
Wada putting the pressure on. Vieta will take the shot. And she doesn't get it, short at the rim. So we've got ourselves a tied ball game after 2 quarters of play. Is this what you expected, Elise?
That's exactly what I expected. I love the matchup between these two teams. The three-point shooting of Utah and then the defense of Colorado. We've seen the stars come out tonight. Peely with 17 and Sherrod with 15. Incredible.
J.R. Payne, head coach of the Buffs, joining us now here at the half. And coach, you look at the way your defense has played. Are you proud of the tenacity they've had out of the gate?
Yes, definitely. You know,
Pac-12 halftime report is brought to you by Walt Disney World Resort. Welcome back to the Walt Disney World Resort halftime report. 33-all between the Buffs and the Utes. Jenny Kavnar, Elise Woodward with you. This is what we wanted. The rivalry game that doesn't disappoint. Both teams going at it. It's going to come down to really defense and who's going to make those big stops in the second half.
Yeah, and certainly both teams were really active early. Utah had 4 steals in the first quarter and Colorado had 6. I also think you have 2 big scores. The 2 big stars have stepped up. Peely with 17, Sherrod with 15, but who else is going to step up? Quay Miller, only 3 minutes played because of foul trouble. Frida Foreman, scoreless as well. She has not got going yet. And then for Utah as well, Jenna Johnson scoreless. Who is going to step up to complement Alyssa Peely?
Yeah, but Peely can get it done everywhere. And you heard J.R. Payne, we're not trying to stop her, just slow her down. That's all you can do because she's a force to be reckoned with inside and outside.
Well, you just look at the array of shots. The right-hand spin, the left-hand spin, the 3-ball, the pump fake, get the defender on their toes, and then drive to the hoop. Peely has the entire package. And Jalen Sherrod, her speed is killing right now. 15 points. That time it was the rip and run out. This time turning around, facing up the excellent defender Vieta, and just putting it right over the top of her face. Cutting into the lane. So Sherrod also showing the array of skill that she has. She hit a 3-ball as well. So Sherrod has come to play against the rival Utes.
Time now for the Walt Disney World Resort first half stats. And really something I circled, and we were talking about it, the 3-point field goals. I mean, Utah makes on average 13 threes a game. They've made just 3. Of course, the Buffs like to shoot the 3 as well. They've made just 1. That could be a difference maker when it comes down to points in the paint. We can also see a lot of action down there in the second half. A 33-all. It's going to be a fun one. Third quarter still left here in the second half. Getting ready for the third quarter here. last-minute touches coming out of halftime. I think for J.R. Payne, you have to be really pleased with the way your defense handled coming out with a lot of energy. That's something they missed in the first quarter of that Northern Colorado game. You talk at least about a huge layoff, right? They packed their schedule, 10 games in the month, and then they only played one game coming into this in the last 25 days. So I think the response of energy is pretty great. And you heard Lynn Roberts, talking about the fact that you just really want to be able to get your team have extra help around Peely, right? Get them going in some regard.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question, but I think for Colorado, J.R. Payne has to be really happy with the fact that Quade Miller played just 3 minutes, free to form and scoreless, and they're tied right now with Utah. They have not played as well as they are capable, and so we'll see if they can get it going. Vonleh was limited too with foul trouble as she gets the bucket.
Yeah, the two in foul trouble, connecting there for the first points as CU takes a 2-point advantage early in the third quarter. Trying to answer on the other end, get it to Peely, who leads with 17. And there's Sherrod right in the mix, the steal and the finish with the roll.
That was the easiest one she's had. It barely went in. That happened because the double team came to Peely early. Sherrod read it, and when Peely went to pass, she intercepted it. But that was a little adjustment there with the double team coming to Peely.
So quick 4-0 run for the Buffs to start the third quarter. Johnson with a nice feed, and Young's going to get pushed underneath. Called it before the shot.
Now, which is a break for Colorado as Freeman couldn't keep up with Young. But you see the double team leaning, and then Sherrod read this perfectly like a book and then is off to the races. Her defense has led to many points offensively and turning those turnovers into buckets.
Inside to Peely, she turns and faces Vonleh, and that is a rare shot for her on the baseline. Of course, she makes it.
Now for Peely, that mid-range game is something that they just don't believe in analytically. It's buckets in the paint or threes. That time Peely reading the defense and says, if you're going to give it to me, I got to take it.
19 for Peely. Again, Foreman held scoreless. She's trying to find her first points, and up and under won't work. 4 on the shot clock. Sherrod pulls up just beyond the free throw line and connects.
Sherrod has been dynamic in this game, just showing us everything. Now 19 points in 17 minutes. She's got 3 assists to go with it.
And 3 rebounds for her as well. Ball went right past a cutting McQueen into the hands of Peely. Vieta just dribbling around. She loses it and out of bounds. That's going to induce a timeout from Lynn Roberts.
Yeah, that time just trying to force it into the lane, and it ends up in a turnover.
A 6-2 run for CU to start the third quarter, 39-35. 4-point lead for the home team in the Colorado Buffaloes over the Utah Utes. Time now for the Clean, Simple Eats, Eat Clean, and Get Results moment. Jalen Sherrod and her play today. One of her 3 steals turns into points on the other end. The Buffs have 15 fast break points.
Yeah, 15-2-3. And so not only are they getting out and getting easy layups in transition like that one from Sherrod, they're also getting back defensively and then getting to the 3-point line. Again, Utah, one of the best teams in the nation. They average making 13 threes a game. They love to get out and run and get those early, and so far just 3 made threes for the Utes.
Sherrod 1 point away from a season high, sitting at 19. That's going to be a turnover. And now the Utes trying to take advantage. 7 points off turnovers for Utah compared to Colorado's 11. Young dribbling around out to Peely. She faked the shot, drives the lane back to Young. Deja Young with 5.
That is such good execution.
Good ball movement. Sherrod on the other end. Of course you're going to take it. It's now a season high for Jalen Sherrod. 21 points here, and just a couple minutes into the third quarter.
She has been electric, just red hot.
Peely off the iron, and Aaronette Vonleh with a board. Foreman, she's going to try for three, and she connects her first points of the day. Frida Foreman leads the Buffs in scoring, and she's now on the board.
The stop on the other end, and then quick offense. Doesn't go as fast break points, but that three ball was before the defense had time to set.
Deja Young had a wide open lane, uses the window.
And that's a big bucket by Young. You can feel Colorado right now trying to pull away. They started this third quarter, and everything for Colorado is working.
Ooh, tried to feed inside, and Aaronette Vonleh got tied up with Young. The foul will go to Deja Young, her third.
This Colorado team has exploited Utah's transition defense in this game so far. Nobody going to collect Frida Foreman at the three-point line. When you get back, that doesn't mean you go back and get in the paint. You got to get back to the three-point line, because Frida Foreman is searching it. She has hit a three now in every single game this season.
38 made threes on the year. 2 games with 7 threes. Ties a CU record. Passes it off. Coy Miller to Sherrod. Nice feed to Sadler. One bounce and can't go in.
It was a high percentage look, though. Just wouldn't drop for Sadler. There was ball movement and patience on that possession.
Peely picks up her dribble, bounce pass inside and off the glass for Kennedy McQueen.
She read that screen. Sherrod went over the top, followed McQueen, so McQueen just cut right direct line to the hoop.
3-point Buffs advantage, and Foreman can't get it to go. McQueen pulls out. And right off of Young and out of bounds, the ball into the hands of their coach Lynn Roberts, who can't be happy right now.
Yeah, this Colorado defense has been really good, has given them a lot of points in transition. But now a key moment as J.R. Payne takes her 3 starters off here before the first quarter break.
11 turnovers now for Utah. And Tamia Sadler missing. Whitaker reaches in and volleys the ball out of bounds.
Sherrod has been the key to everything for Colorado on both ends of the floor. She's getting a rest. Quay Miller's getting a rest. Aaronette Vonleh getting a breather. So this is a big moment for Colorado. They had good production off their bench in the first half.
They had a quick conversation with the refs. Thought possibly was over the back on Whitaker on the mismatch. Peely just goes straight into Whitaker and draws a foul.
That leverage again for Peely, going off the bounce against the much bigger defender. The crossover is so quick. And then leaning in when she felt the defender in her space, and Whitaker to draw the foul.
I wonder if her parents ever told her where there's a will, there's a way, because she dominates the court that way.
I think there's a lot of things. She's the second of 9 siblings growing up in Alaska. Of course, played tackle football, which we all know, but wrestled. I mean, you're just talking about 9 kids trying to get food at the dinner table,
right?
You better be tough.
That'll make you a really good athlete in of itself.
You see the tattoo on the right leg for Peely, the native Alaskan and Samoan. Proud of her heritage. And got to play in Alaska in the non-conference portion of the season in front of so many fans of hers in her home state.
21 points now for Peely. Jumper, can't get the roll, so Foreman still cold, minus the big 3 she hit a little bit earlier. Utes trail by 1, inside. And nice off the glass for Jenna Johnson, who's just now showing up in the stat sheet.
Well, Colorado was putting a run on, and then Utah now has answered an 8-0 run by the Utes.
Mostly the bench out there for J.R. Payne. They're going to try and put a stop to it. Frida Foreman pulls up. That's short. Weta tries to get in there for the boards. It ends up in the hands of Peely. Utes have made 3 of their last 3 field goals. Can they keep it rolling? Build the lead here. Nice feed from Peely. She has the assist game working too, as Kennedy McQueen now has 6.
The movement away from the basketball by McQueen has been really good in the second half, but Peely leading her like a quarterback that just throws it into space and knows where the receiver is going to go.
10-0 run for Utah. Go for their last 5 in terms of field goals. Smith changes that. Sarah Rose Smith coming up with a huge 3. She's at 9.
Yeah, big momentum. The crowd with a loud cheer for the 3 ball.
Back to a tied game, and a whistle off ball as Frida Foreman will pick up a foul here in the media timeout. Big time 3 off the bench for Sarah Rose Smith. Well, it's been a game of runs here in the third quarter. Back to being tied 47-all between the Buffs and the Utes, and of course a top 12 matchup here brings out the fans, but they have been coming to the CU Event Center today. 7,383 fans in attendance. That's the most in the regular season in over 20 years. Last time it was February 23rd, 2002, when they had over 8,000. Of course, the most loyal of Buffs fans, Peggy in the house. Doesn't miss, whether it's in person or at home, and Sarah Rose Smith has not missed today. A steal and connecting on the other end. She's in double figures. How about 11 off the bench, and those points have been big for the Buffs.
Remember, we talked who is going to step up to go and provide production with the Stars, and Smith has been that one for the Buffaloes today. Her defense and her ability to finish has been crucial.
Buffs causing havoc and getting 7,000 of their friends involved with it. Fun to see on winter break as well. Of course, school not in session right now, as we head toward the new year. And a turnover going the Utes' way. Here comes Utah. Vieta will bring it up. Wilkie got caught, passes it off, and just muscling her way through, but too hard is Jenna Johnson. Sherrod, one dribble into Kendall Wetta, and out to Aaronette Von Lay for the miss.
And with no Peely on the floor, the Utes come up short in the last possession.
Wide open underneath is Jenna Johnson.
Missed assignment, leaving Johnson open. She's had a couple of buckets in the third quarter after scoreless in the first half. And a big one there for Utah to tie it up.
Utes 5 of their last 6 from the floor. Aaronette Von Lay almost got the ball taken away from her. To Sherrod. In and out. And what a shot. Kendall Wetta right there. Underneath. Ball goes out of bounds, and it'll stay with the Buffs as subs are coming in.
Well, I thought that 3 ball was down by Jalen Sherrod. She'd already hit 1. She has been absolutely on fire. 21 points, inching towards her career high of 27. That one rattling out, but Wetta earning another look for Colorado.
Tamia Sadler gets it in for the Buffs. Coy Miller's been quiet. She's been in foul trouble early. And that one's stuffed at the rim. So great defense. And the takeaway, speaking of defense, from Sherrod. That goes out of bounds off the Buffs. And they're going to call it Utes ball, but the crowd here doesn't agree.
I think this is excellent composure by Peely not to foul. Sherrod just sneaking in there and ripping.
And crowd's into it here. Wilkie brings it up. Vieta picked up her dribble. The freshman and Reese Ross had early foul trouble. Back in the game with 2 fouls. Wilkie takes a shot and she connects for 3. Big time for the Utes to go back on top, 52-51.
We missed it because we were in the replay, but Colorado ripping a turnover, getting a bucket by Weta, but the made three-pointer for the answer by Utah. This game has been good.
Real good. In and out, and Weta again doesn't get the roll. And this crowd is really into it. 15 seconds to go in the quarter. Utah looks for the last shot.
We were tied at halftime and just about tied right now. Any closer it would be.
Nice feed from Peely. She has the assist game going on. And Lonnie White with 7 as the buzzer goes. Wow. 30 minutes into this game and a 3-point advantage for the Utes. 54-51, and it's been Peely and company. Well, Alyssa Peely proving once again why she's the reigning player of the year in the Pac-12 Conference. She can dominate on all sorts of levels and right around her average at 23.
She's just so quick. You see that first step, and she is by the defender, and then the power inside and traffic, crashing the offensive rebounds. You just can never take your eyes off of where she is as a defender. And the difference maker is the fact that Peely can score all over the floor in so many ways and put so much pressure on a defense.
Today's healthcare.gov difference maker being Alyssa Peely. Let's see who else can make a difference here. 8:30 to go in the fourth quarter. 59-51. Utes lead. Miller inside to Vonleh, and Peely's going to take the foul.
So Colorado in the third quarter came out strong, led by 7, their largest lead of the game. And since then, Utah has outscored them 22-7. It has been all Utah since that time. Colorado, after this timeout, might have a chance to kind of steady the ship. You're down by 8. You've got plenty of time with 8.5 minutes to go. And their defense is what gave them the opportunity at that 7-point lead. Sherrod's quickness and limiting basically everybody besides Peely. And that's how Colorado's going to get back in this game. It's going to be with that defense and forcing turnovers.
Aronette Vonleh joins Jalen Sherrod and Sarah Rose Smith in double figures for the Buffs, and it felt like an easy way to the basket for Vieta. Wide open look. She has 6 points. Inside to Vonleh off the glass.
And powering through Peely, who was standing her ground. Vonleh picked up an offensive foul a short time ago against Peely, who was holding her ground. This time she just goes right through Peely for the bucket. No stop in her game.
Peely on the ground, knocked around, and it's going to come up with a white jersey. Buffs take the ball, put it in the hands of Sherrod. Here comes the speed, stop and pop, got it. Jalen Sherrod with 23 points, and Peely's on the ground holding her right knee on the other end.
Oh, that is not what you want to see whatsoever. For
Lynn Roberts and the athletic trainer out on the court right away.
You know that Gianna Neepkins suffered an injury earlier this season. One of the top 10 scorers last year. Now Peely down there and looking at concern. They're grabbing at her left calf. You hope that this is just a cramp situation for Peely, who has been working so hard. And remember, too, there's a long break in between. And so when you come back, you're not in a 100% game shape with so much time off for the holidays.
So looking back at the play of Peely dribbling through everyone and just ends up on the ground and can't get up. So you're hoping, to your point, that it is just cramps and they can work it out here on the bench quickly.
Well, the good news is they were looking at that calf. And I have talked with Alyssa Peely about her calves before. It is like phenomenal, her calves, and how strong this young woman is. I mean, look at that. And she puts so much time and energy and effort into the weight room. And you can see she's just trying to stretch it out, which is a absolute where you lose your gut for a second there when you see one of the best players in the country on the ground. Everybody, no matter who you are in the Buffs, with a very nice moment of sportsmanship cheering her on when she was able to get up under her own power. But you can see her over there trying to hydrate, taking in some liquid. But a big development in this game. Utah with a 4-point lead, but Peely has been doing it all for the team. 23 points, 9 boards, 5 assists. As she's off the floor right now.
She'll have to watch it from the bench with 7:40 to go in the game. 61-57. We'll keep an eye on her, see if Peely can't get right and back in for the Utes. Of course, their leading scorer at 23. Someone's going to have to step up offensively, and falling short at the rim is Jenna Johnson.
And I think Whitaker might have got a piece of that. The 6'4" native of New Zealand has had an impact defensively today for the Buffaloes.
What up top to Sherrod. Sherrod's been hot. She wants the ball in her hand, and she's going to take it all the way in. She'll draw a foul.
Utah trying to go behind the screen, and Jalen Sherrod just working her way towards the defender and then drawing the contact.
Jenna Johnson picking up her third foul.
You see the switch, and Sherrod goes right at the defender Johnson. And earning herself a trip to the foul line, and she has been so consistent at the foul line for the Buffaloes. 85% on the season. Incredible when she is that quick and can get in there to draw contact.
And Pac-12 preseason all-conference for good reason. Of course, part of the all-Pac-12 team, all-defensive selection last year. So lead the conference in assists with 165 of those. And today she's doing that and scoring points. Missed the second, and it comes up with Utah. But here come a swarm of Buffaloes. They get it across in time, and now she's playing hot potato. Get it out, and Vieta backs it up to the corner. That's going to be a long rebound for Kendall Wetta off McQueen's miss.
Colorado's defense speeding up Utah in that possession. Just Utah felt, I think, relieved to be able to relieve that pressure in the backcourt and even get a look.
Feed inside to Vonleh. They're going to have a size advantage if they utilize it, and that's short. It's going to be over the back on Smith, and now an extra whistle.
And I think that's the correct call. Smith was over the back. It was a good block out by Utah. And I think our officials just making sure they get the call correct.
Got to do that in a tight rivalry game. 61-58 Utes lead.
There's a really good officiating crew today.
Young picked up her dribble. Johnson off to Wilkie. She drives the lane. Scoops. Can't get the roll. Here comes Jalen Sherrod, changing speeds. Straight to the hoop and in. Three-point opportunity coming, and a foul call on Deja Young for her fourth.
She is absolutely electric. Nobody can keep up with Jalen Sherrod. Just look at her turn the corner and get all the way to the bucket and one. And her bench loving it.
Good news for the Utes. Alyssa Peely just checked into the ball game.
Utah had to come together for a run. Utah was pulling away. It's a 7-0 run. Utah held scoreless for the last 2:18. It has been a game of runs. Both teams exchanging heavyweight punches in this one. This top 15 matchup, top 12 matchup in the nation. And this game still in the balance. Tied up, 6 to go. This is good.
11th time we've been tied up. 61 all, 27 points for Jalen Sherrod. And another attempt at a takeaway. It's going to be a jump ball, and the possession arrow belongs to the home team.
And you can't even hear the whistle. It is so loud in here. A rare mistake by Peely to get ripped. And that is the hands of Kendall Wetta. The quickest hands. Came in as a freshman to earn Pac-12 all-defensive team. And that time ripping a pair of the strongest hands in the nation.
Buffs working it around. The hot hand has been Jalen Sherrod today. She ties a career high with 27 points and plenty of time left. What a feed to Wetta. Wetta throws it up and gets the foul call. Vieta picks up her second. And those two in cahoots under the basket.
Sherrod's quickness beating the defense on the baseline, and that leaves the lane for Weta, who moves into the open window. Those two have played together now year 3 in a row with Sherrod and Weta, and they know they have that ability to read where the other one needs to go.
Weta, the only Colorado native on the Colorado Buffs.
And what a run by Colorado. 10-0 over the last 2:40 to retake the lead on their home floor. Couldn't even hear the whistle on the last possession. This crowd is into it.
And that's it. The 6th man helping them out today. They had to climb uphill a couple different times this season, but perhaps the most important in game 1 of the Pac-12, 63-61. Peely again left the game for a couple of minutes. She gets stripped there. She's a little slow to get up and trailing. Buffs have numbers. Whitaker goes to work. And now lots of Buffs going for the basketball. It's going to go out of bounds, and they'll call it the way of the Utes.
Well, that is a break for Utah because Alyssa Peely, you mentioned it, late to get back. She was on the ground trailing. Whitaker had 2 really small defenders on her but couldn't finish, and Utah comes up with a possession.
Sarah Rose Smith meeting Vieta, and she'll get another foul call, so that's her 3rd.
And this is one that you just got to keep moving your feet. Don't want to have a foul all the way out near midcourt, and it's that line as a pressure defense. Colorado applies such great pressure and makes you uncomfortable and speeds you up, and you got to walk that balance of not too much to draw contact and put Utah at the line.
Erinette Vonleh back in the game for the Buffs, and Jalen Sherrod running right in to Peely.
And just the first foul of the game for Jalen Sherrod. She has been everywhere. A complete and total menace. Has disrupted Utah's offense all day long, and yet has done so by keeping her hands clean. Really, this has been an amazing performance for the 5th-year senior out of Alabama.
Under 5 minutes to go. Utes trail by 2, and they've had a scoring drought that's lasted close to 4 minutes. Young trying to stop it with the drive, but way too aggressive over the hoop. Sherrod with the speed and a wide open lane. Call it a career day. 29 points for Jalen Sherrod.
And Utah, where's the ball going to go? You know it's going to go to Sherrod in the open court, and nobody called ball. And Sherrod is so fired up. Look at her, willing her team in this game right now. 29 points, 11 made field goals. She has been so outstanding. And you watch the speed. Look, eyes up, scanning the defense. Who's going to take ball? Kennedy McQueen is looking off to the wing. Nobody checks the ball handler. One of the first rules in basketball, take ball, take ball. Sherrod's so smart, just goes all the way to the bucket, as she has done time and time again.
Jalen Sherrod is playing in her 118th collegiate game today. That is a career high in points at 29. It ties a career high in field goals made. She's usually the one handing out the assists, and today, when her team needed her most, when foul trouble came early from Vonleh and from Miller, she stepped it up big time, and she did it against a team that has one of the biggest scoring threats in the conference in Alyssa Peely.
You look at Peely right at her average of 23 points per game. Sherrod well over, and it's been the defense leading to the offense, and they have not been able to slow Sherrod down in transition.
See what the Utes do out of the timeout. They trail by 4, 65-61.
This has been a fantastic run by Colorado.
They go to Peely, and an air ball from her. The speed of Sherrod coming into play once again. This time she passes it off to Erinette Vonleh. Can't make it, but she'll be fouled and head to the line.
They completely flipped the script in this game. Colorado was trailing by 8 points here in the fourth quarter with over 8 minutes to go. And since that time, it's been a 12-0 run over the last 4 minutes and change. A remarkable turn of events, and it has been Sherrod again. The quickness in the open court that has been unstoppable in this game. That time beating everybody, a 2-on-1 situation. Peely leans towards Sherrod, and she dumps it to Vonleh, who heads to the line.
This is the versatility that the Buffs are going to cause havoc with in the Pac-12. They have a multitude of scoring threats. And when the three-point game wasn't there for them today, they found a different way. They found the play of Sherrod. And I think for Utah, that might be the question coming out of this game. Who else can chip in to the point total? This is a team that averaged 93 points per game in non-conference play, and right now the Buffs have held them to 61.
Just 5 made threes in this game for Utah. They averaged 13.
Feed in, and that's a great feed coming from Vieta. Peely connecting, she's at 25.
That was gorgeous. A dime, just dropping it into a bucket for Peely, who was left open.
That ended a 5-minute scoring drought for Utah.
Breaks up the run. It was 13-0, and look at this one hand over the top. That is a gorgeous feed by Ines Vieta, a junior out of Portugal. Makes you think of one of the best in WNBA history, and Tisha Pinachero, the Portugal native.
93 total assists on the season so far. Think about that. She led the team with 95 assists all last season. And here we sit on their 13th game. And she's been dropping dimes. Been huge for them through the course of injury. Vonleh missing her second. 67-63.
The free throws are going to be big here down the stretch.
Driving right in and trying to will it on the other end is Peely, and she'll get the foul call.
Now the crowd wanted an offensive foul, but I don't think that they rotated over, and who would want to get in the front of that? Peely coming right at you, and not a lot of contact. Peely just trying to split the defense there.
Free throws will become important. Fouls will become important for Aronette Vonleh. That is now 4 for her. Peely making the first.
Cool, calm. This crowd on their feet right now behind the bucket as she shoots these free throws.
Knocking them down 27.
This has been such a good game. This has been so much fun to watch.
2-point lead for the Buffs, 67-65. Sherrod creating space. Inside, Aronette Vonleh goes at Peely, and she stuffs her. Sticks with the Buffs, back inside. Vonleh off the glass.
Stopped her once, but not twice on that possession as the ball pops out, remains with Colorado, and Vonleh goes right back at Peely for 2.
16 for Aronette Vonleh. Half of those coming here in the fourth quarter. Peely for 3. Long rebound. Goes the offense, and Sherrod right there to take it away.
She read that so well. Johnson had no idea that Sherrod was going to be behind her and just rips it from her cold-hearted.
4 steals for Jalen Sherrod. Turn and shoot. How about it? Vonleh. Her facial expression never changes. She is so steady for her team, and she's at 18. Sherrod right in the mix of things again, and guess what? That is Buffs basketball.
It won't go as a steal, but this will go as a turnover, and Aronette Vonleh back-to-back buckets. And Jalen Sherrod fired up.
She is in the zone.
Vonleh turning, facing up against the Pac-12 Player of the Year from last season, Peely, and scoring against her 2 possessions in a row to create this 6-point cushion and the ball.
Under 2 minutes to go in the game. Buffs are going to work it around up 71-65. Sherrod at the key. She cannot be stopped. 31 points for Jalen Sherrod.
Way too hot to simmer down, and look at her face. Might as well overheat, Jalen Sherrod. A 30-piece on the board against Utah.
Peggy liked it. Peggy absolutely loved it.
Jalen Sherrod, this is an all-time kind of performance for the point guard. Measuring up the defense, so collected. They have not been able to contain her. When she can turn the corner, she's getting to the rim. They go behind the screen, she's reading it. That mid-range game has been very good to Jalen Sherrod. But I love the composure. She is just giving what the defense allows her to do, and she hasn't forced anything in this game. It has been an outstanding performance. 4 assists, just 1 turnover for Jalen Sherrod, and defensively has been everywhere. A total menace with 4 steals and forcing many more turnovers.
Lynn Roberts frustrated. Wants to see the Utes get back into this. The three-pointer would do that, in and out.
Great play out of the timeout by Utah. The back pick for the weak side 3 just would not go down. 5 of 18 from 3 for Utah in this game. The defense for Colorado has had an effect on that.
Vonleh to Sherrod. Drives to her left, switches to her right, and keep on adding Jalen.
Why not, Jalen? Why not, Jalen?
33 points for the graduate senior in the first 30-point performance for the Buffs since Maya Hollingshed had 32 against number 1 Stanford a couple years ago. Young to the corner, McQueen got stuffed. A tip there for the Buffs, and now a foul on Vieta. 10-point lead for the Buffs. They smell victory, and the 7,000 plus fans here do as well.
Just the intensity and passion that Jalen Sherrod plays with. It's just so fun to watch. The crowd, she has them in the palm of her hands right now. She went over after one of her and ones and high-fived a fan in the front row. I mean, it's just, she is taking this team and putting them on her back in this performance against Utah.
This is a team whose season started out almost 2 months ago with a victory against the number 1 team in the country in LSU. Their journey continued along as they continued to knock off teams. All games have been decided by 11-plus points. And look exactly where we sit here, Elise. 11-point advantage for the Buffs.
A total run after falling behind by 8 in the 4th.
Three-pointer coming. That misses, and the long arms of Sarah Rose Smith gathers it in.
And Lynn Roberts will say no foul. And this crowd on their feet in appreciation. What a performance by Colorado.
A nice little moment from Sherrod and J.R. Payne exchanging smiles as they talk through it. There's going to be a second separating the shot clock and the game clock.
And I love the fact that the ball is in the hands of Jalen Sherrod. 34 points, 4 assists, 4 steals, and the engine of this Colorado team.
Jalen Sherrod cracking that intense face into a big smile with 1.1 seconds left in this game. Utah will get the ball in, and that is all she wrote in Boulder.
Oh.
Number 8 Buffaloes beating their rivals from Utah, the number 12 Utes, 76-65. If this is the appetizer of what we're going to see in Pac-12 play, sign me up for the main course.
I mean, this was a game that could have gone 100 different directions. A game of runs. Utah led by 8. Colorado said, all right, it's go time. And they put the pedal down to win by 11. Incredible 4th quarter by Colorado, outscoring Utah 25-11 on their home floor. They got a huge boost from the fans, over 7,000 strong. And yeah, you mentioned it, Jenny. Welcome to Pac-12 play. I mean, this is the way that it is each and every game.
Buffs improved to 11-1 on the season, but more importantly, 1-0 in conference play. They are now 2-1 against ranked opponents this season, and they break that all-time series tie with Utah in their 43rd meeting with the advantage 22-21. What a performance from Jalen Sherrod. 34 points, a couple of